I still think I think Sony's making a mistake by not going to E3 though.
I don't think so.
I do because I was originally kind of on the side of, oh, it's probably a smart idea. I mean, they can just do their online thing and still get the same word out, but you're not letting people, prospective buyers, prospective developers get hands-on with your stuff like Nintendo does, Nintendo Direct, but they're still at E3 on the floor showing their games, showing their stuff, showing their equipment, showing what the Switch could do. Like that was a huge seller for the Switch when it launched, was having that presence at E3. They always do like this huge thing every year for E3. Sony not being there twice in a row, I understood last year because you didn't really have much to show. Last year was kind of like a weak year for gaming, but now you're gearing up with these new systems. You're gonna, by July, you're gonna have that hardware announced. You're gonna have it shown. You're gonna have a price point by that point. You're gonna want to give people a hands-on. And Xbox had that chance last E3. I guess they have a chance again to kind of take over that spot and give everyone like hands-on. But
they might not necessarily have the price sorted out because we didn't learn the PS4 price until E3 last time around. So they might be kind of holding their powder on that until.
Yeah, but still, to get a hands-on with the system in the game.
Yeah, but
who's
huge. To say that they don't do, because a lot of games do this, they invite people over and try it. And, I mean, at that point...
The more hands-on, the better, though. The more people you have.
Yeah, but maybe
I just think...
If you withhold till the last possible second... Grand Theft Auto 5 did this with gameplay. They didn't release any gameplay because they just knew that people were going to like it regardless. Then they at the very last second they released gameplay of it, and people were through the roof at the last second.
Because
and I feel
the last time Sony did this, they fucked up. That's why I don't like it. The PS3 launch was a complete fuck up because they thought they were bigger than the market. Yep. They thought they could do no wrong. And I'm not saying I'm getting a PS5. I'm saying it right now. I was not going to be going to E3. I don't have the money to go to E3. I'm not one of the people who was planning on going. I was going to buy a PS5. I'm not talking about me in this scenario.
But do the hands-on really matter now that when the PlayStation 3 came out? Like, I don't know, like, was YouTube nearly as big? I don't think so.
PS3 came out in 2000. That was the year YouTube went big.
All right. So at that point, the hands-on thing might have affected it a little bit.
No. I was just talking about if the reason Sony isn't there is because they're under the assumption, oh, it's going to be fine. Like you were saying with Grand Theft Auto 5, the reason they didn't. And I think a game and an entire system generation are two completely different things. I want to make that statement right now. That's apples and oranges we're talking about. But same mentality. I understand where you're coming from. Fallout 4 did the same thing. But when the PS3 launched, they did this whole thing where the PS1 was a juggernaut that kind of surprised everybody, and the PS2 annihilated the competition, and they were like, we're fine. Everyone's going to buy it. Everyone's going to love it. And they had this really horrible marketing for it with these really creepy commercials with like that baby doll or whatever like that. These like really weird, creepy commercials. And then the thing was a mess. It was way too overpriced. They had like 12 USB ports. I didn't need 12 USB ports in 2006. I don't even need 12 USB. Well, I might need 12 USB ports now. But on my PlayStation?
No,
2006.
That was a bit goofy.
It was them getting a little too. It was the same thing Xbox did with this past generation. They were really feeling themselves a little too much. They crammed Kinect into the system. I'm not saying that's gonna happen. I'm just saying that's the feeling I get.
Oh, see, I feel that they're gonna start doing. I mean, Nintendo Direct does their own thing now, where they announce the Switch and they showed more gameplay of it. That sold me already, so I don't think it's going to be nearly as much of an issue. But
Nintendo is still there on the floor with the fans, with the developers, with the press, making face, talking to them, because people might have, especially with a new system coming out, developers have questions. Magazines have questions.
Yeah.
Do magazines still exist?
They don't. That's why everything can be
online
done
publications
digitally.
have questions.
Well, but again, if they do their own event and they wait till the last second, they can steal the.
Not everybody's going to go to their own event compared to everybody who's already going to E3, though.
No, but I
what own event? Do they have an event?
They could. No, I'm saying they have the finances to do their own event. They do their own, state of play now. What makes them think that they won't do like a whole?
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of the gamble they're making, that their kind of own conference that they're going to hold for an hour or two, whatever they did, like they did with the PS4, will be able to generate the same sort of attention that an E3 press conference could.
Oh, I think it would.
Again,
I think E3 is dying. I think it's just not nearly what it was. I mean, I'm not
Sony's
that
the only one
excited.
that pulled out.
Yeah, but I don't think Nintendo, like, no super duper huge announcements. Like, I feel like last year, I don't ever recall. Like, I remember E3 when Final Fantasy VII was announced. Like, that's when it was exciting. When everyone was there, the big announcements. I feel like all these companies, they announce these things, on their own. E3 is just kind of more of like a gameplay showing. Like, that's it.
No, that's true. But
So-
also, we don't know what it's like to actually be there on the floor, though.
True, but that was exciting.
From our perspective, the conferences have gotten really, Bethesda over the past 2 years has just been like unwatchable. Yeah. And then the past like 3 years, Nintendo's just been like owning completely
Oh, yeah.
with their, and they're not even like they don't even have a live conference. They just have like a video playing.
Yeah, so I mean, I do miss the whole crowd reaction. Like, I love Resident Evil 2 when it was officially announced. They had that trailer that starts off in like as a rat in like first person, and then it's scurrying around. You hear like scuffling in the background, and then all of a sudden, you saw Leon burst in, and you heard the crowd's reaction like go nuts. Same thing with God of War.
Same thing with FF7 Remake when they first showed that trailer.
Oh, went nuts! Yeah, people went nuts, and I love it. And the crowd reaction is exciting too. Like it is something that I do miss. But I mean,
and not to get into the logistics of it, but I know like the way E3 is run and the people who own E3 or run it or whatever. I know that there's like a lot of issues with that. Like Sony, for all I know, might have like a lot of legitimate reasons
it could be
for
a
not going
cultural
there.
thing too.
It might be a price thing. I mean,
could be a
it
price
costs
thing.
money to rent out spaces at this thing.
Yeah, save money, put it towards.
It just, as a gamer, I feel like I'm losing out on them not being there because that presence of them not being there was felt last year
it's
for
a fun
me.
week every day. You get to see like a nice, sweet new press conference.
Yeah.
And, see what all the new games are. There's like a flurry of announcements every day.
But could you imagine like 3-4 months to go that they start releasing so much information like right at Christmas time and all this excitement for the last few, rather than, oh, hey, it's going to be backwards compatible. Oh, we know that now, but 8 months later or 6-7 months later, is that still
I
exciting?
think I would ever be more or less excited if it was July or October.
Plus, I feel like they got to start getting ahead of leaks because they're going to start having to manufacturing these things pretty soon, and they're going to be like in warehouses, and you can't. A certain number of people are going to have to know about the features and what's going on.
And that's the thing. All right, so representatives from retailers go to these things. That's the type of thing I was talking about, and that's one of the reasons the Sega Saturn bombed so much is because they effed off the retailers by suddenly saying, "Hey, it's coming out 5 months earlier than it was supposed to." Oh, sorry, you don't have a heads up, and then multiple retailers decided just not to carry the system. That system was like doomed out of the gate just for that reason alone. Like you have to add. Again, I'm not saying that this is the reason that they're not going to E3, but for a certain amount of people, a certain subsect of people, some people might take it as a little bit of disrespect that they're kind of like saying like, oh, you're not worth the time, you're not worth the effort. I think that's a little. That's a little even.
If I was
reach for me,
I mean, I don't know what the bill is. That E3 sends
it might
them,
cost a lot. I mean,
it might cost a lot. And like I said, they
Isn't it?
the state of play. It's got to be.
is it in LA?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
Is it
that,
someplace
but
different every year?
LA sounds about right, but
la.
I don't know. But I don't know. Maybe, like I said, maybe they host their own event. Is there another E3 type thing that
there's Gamers Con or GamesCon.
So it could be they could wait
But
till
I don't
that.
feel like I ever hear anything about GameCon.
They could, maybe it's cheaper, and maybe
Maybe.
they're trying to start. I don't know. It could be anything, but I feel like they're a little bit more. I think they're a little bit more. They're smarter, and I feel they're still making the right decisions. Like they're not. They got all these games that they're releasing like right before exclusives. Last of Us 2, and they still got the Samurai game that's coming out. Ghost of Tsushima. They still have.
I'm not saying they're not smart.
Well, I think they.
I'm actually a little worried that we haven't heard more about the system yet.
I don't think I am because I heard a lot of stuff about March. If it gets to April and I don't hear anything, then I'll be nervous.
Panic button. No,
that would be my panic button. The end of March would be. Hey, I haven't heard a thing.
Panicking, but especially Matt was telling us that there was supposed to be something early February, and that kind of just glossed over really quickly. It's like I don't know. There's something. I don't know if they're just playing like a chicken with Xbox right now. I mean that is what you're saying.
That's kind of what it feels like. No one wants to make the first move, and they're kind of worried about how this is going to play out.
I think it's the price point thing. And
I don't know. What are you going to price it at?
And I bet Microsoft, considering they got their ass beat this generation, really has to be like, we really want to come in.
Microsoft really isn't taking the opportunity to really like oversell on their brand right now.
E3
either.
could be that change.
That's what I said last year. And
but last year they didn't have the system. I think it was smart to not go crazy last year with it. I think this year would be stupid for considering they're going to be the big thing at E3. They're going to announce, I guess there's more Halo that they're going to talk about a lot more than before.
I think last year was a really bad look for them. All they had were like pre-rendered trailers of things, and
but
they didn't really. They like really forced us to know about the Xbox, the new Xbox being made, but didn't actually tell us anything about it. They just kept saying like, "Oh, it can do stuff."
Yeah, but I think last year, in the end, I think the idea of them purchasing so many of these companies, now these companies have been, in development of their exclusive games for at least a year and a half now, for potentially their next system. So at this point, this E3, I feel like, is the time to nail it.
Last E3, that's what I was saying, though. Like, hey, Sony's not there. Again, think back last summer, we didn't think Sony was going to be out 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
That's why I thought like last year was a complete failure. They had that chance. Sony wasn't there. Take the bull by the horns, and they had nothing.
Yeah, but if we knew we knew more information about the Xbox One, we'd still be, all of us would be thinking about the PlayStation 5 and what they have to offer, like more interested in that. So I feel like, again, this is the big one that they can say, hey, look, Ninja Theory, I think they purchased, or I always get them mixed up with another one. But this one that we bought, is working on this for the Xbox One.
Well, Xbox, if they don't have any
is.
games to show this E3,
absolutely bomb.
Well, they already said there's not going to be any exclusives for a year.
I know that one
except for
statement.
Halo, I assume.
Yeah, Halo was
it's probably launching for both systems, though.
I think that statement was taken a little out of context because I think they are going to make it for PC as well. That doesn't necessarily.
Well, they have all of Microsoft games are automatically coming out to PC.
That's what they might have meant when they said exclusive. Like it's only on the Xbox. Like
I don't think that's what they meant.
Why would they say that's a death sentence? Why would you say that?